Heyo, you're tuning into Toasted Time, where I cook your time with some Reddit stories. Right now you're being toasted with some r/best of Redditor updates where OP debatably gets the wrong person pregnant. Our first story is by Strooby Shack. Long story short, my girlfriend and I have been living together for around 10 months. When she first moved in, she insisted on paying rent and I was reluctant to charge her if it didn't work out, but she forced it and paid for a month. Then I found out she's struggling for money, unable to pay for things, is in a lot of debt and lives month to month. She agreed with me that she'd start when she clears the debt. Fast forward to Christmas, I found out she is stealing my clothes and giving it to her family as gifts. Another post on here. She lied for 2 weeks blaming me until I showed her footage of her taking the things from the camera in the living room to watch the dog when I'm out. That is why I have the camera. I later then discover through letters and texts I've seen appear on her phone that she has been doing nothing to pay any of it off. So I confront her. She tells me and shows me messages that her mother and sister constantly guilt trip her into giving them money and have for years. They'll message her things on payday asking for it and she feels bad saying no, despite none of them ever paying it back. Her mom alone owes her $6,000, and she has taken tons of loans out for her family and they leave her with the debt and they don't pay back. Luckily, her credit is now at the point where nobody will loan to her, but she still tries and does it for them. I also find out, I went through her finances, and yes, I shouldn't have, but something wasn't adding up, and I was being lied to, that in the space of 20 minutes, she spent $300 on gambling sites. All during this time, she isn't paying a penny towards rent, bills, or anything. She'll occasionally buy food, shopping, or trips out to Starbucks, and I tell her enough is enough and she needs to start paying her way. If she can give handouts to her family and gamble, she can pay for where she lives, and she has taken me for a ride when she should have been saving and clearing debts. I make roughly 5 times what she does, but I've been fair in that the bills are split proportionately to income. She'll earn $1,400 per month and pays $600, which includes rent and her share of the bills. I take on the rest, which is substantially more, but I believe it is not fair to take more. On the 1st of this month, she tells me that she can't pay rent. She says that she's paid too much on her trips to Starbucks, food shopping, and I'll get it when I get it, but she doesn't understand why I need it this month when she's lived for free the past 9 months anyway. I've asked her to explain where her money has gone exactly, but she tells me I'm too controlling, and it is none of my business. In fairness, she will pay when we go food shopping, but rarely in comparison to me. I have kicked her out as of yesterday and told her she needs to find somewhere else to live. She is, however, pregnant, and she is using that card as a way to guilt trip me and make out that I've thrown out her and my child onto the streets. In my opinion, she is taking me for a ride and prioritizing her family that is using her over her own family that she has started. What is the solution here to getting her to see that she is not treating me fairly? To which OP then made an update about a month later. I sat her down and gave her an ultimatum early last week, and I explained to her that we are a family and became a family when she decided to have a baby with me. I told her that if we were going to stay together, she's going to have to be a lot more open, contribute, and no more taking on debt that she can't afford, which brings it to my door when she can't pay. I also told her that I want to see her bank statements because I suspect that she has a gambling problem and is in some serious debt. She agreed to all this and committed to showing me the bank statements when I ask, and says going forward she will pay towards bills. I believe she turned a corner and we started to get along together better, and she has moved back in. As I was sat next to her phone last night when she went to grab a drink, her phone lit up with a text message. It read, "Loan accepted by X lender. Click here to accept." I immediately called her out and she starts crying, telling me she has no money left again for the month and she's had to resort to payday loans for some money. And I tell her she should have come to me first, and I tell her I explicitly said no more loans. She also tells me that she won't be able to afford to pay towards bills again. She works full-time and brings home around $1,400 to $1,200 a month, depending on hours, but a lot of the time she phones sick, and so she gets sick pay, which is a lot less. I asked to see her bank statements, and she refuses, telling me I'm being controlling by asking when she told me that I don't need to see them. That is the last straw for me. I'm almost certain that she's been giving it away at this point again, or gambling. I give her a scenario. Your baby is starving and needs food, and there is none in the house. What are you going to do? And she replies, you'll have to pay. That's fine. I'll happily support my son, and I tell her because the mother is clearly a deadbeat. So I ask to see the Facebook Messenger to see if her family's been hitting her up for free money again, and conveniently, all the family members that borrowed from her have the chats cleared. She says she deletes them to be tidy, yet mine's still there. And I told her that this is not going to work, and she tells me I'm a controlling freak basically, and she agrees, and I've not heard from her since. Moral of the story is that she is too damaged from her upbringing, I'm guessing, and some people you just can't change. She still messages me on asking how I am, but I'm just ignoring her, except from anything baby related. I need to move on. I know a lot of people question whether she's pregnant and how stupid I was to get her pregnant. I agree. And if it is mine, and I've been to every scan, so I know she's pregnant. As for if it is mine, I've never suspected cheating, but she is a serial liar, so I will be forcing a DNA test through the courts. I posted on a couple of different subs to make sure I wasn't getting biased opinions, and the above story is 100% true. I wish it wasn't, believe me. But my focus is now getting as far away as possible from her for my own sake. And then there was yet another update about a month after that update. After a couple weeks of learning that she was sleeping around on family members' or friends' sofas, I allowed her back into the house given that she was pregnant. Around a month ago, out of concern for the baby really, given she is now 8 months pregnant. Stupid on my part, and I'm now going to explain why I regret it. I've recently moved house a couple of months ago, and she was involved in the packaging and unpacking whilst I was out, mainly unpacking. I had a pretty large stack of cash in the drawer of a cabinet in the living room, around $400 to $500, and this was a Christmas gift from my parents. During this time, I also sold a lot of old furniture, including a sofa, which she begged and begged for me to sell it to her mother. I begrudgingly accepted this, and she told me that her mother had asked to borrow the money from her repeatedly to buy it from me, and asked if she could pay a couple of weeks after she took it. No biggie. That's fine, I tell her. Her mother collects the sofa, giving me $100 cash initially, and tells me the rest will be with me in a week. A week comes around and she tells me it'll be next month, but she's not happy as it collapsed and I need to come take a look. I tell her it was fine and she collected it and I'm not taking a look. Basically, if you don't want it, I'll collect it and sell it to someone who wants to pay. She tells me I'm not welcome in their house. My girlfriend, ex, told her there was nothing wrong with the sofa at all when it was collected, and her mother tells her that she's also not welcome. My ex then flips it on to me, telling me I'm controlling and she doesn't need to get involved to fall out with her family. I didn't make her, but I told her it showed where her priorities lie when she is defending them and not wanting to get involved over them screwing me over. It was left at that. And back to the money. I went to see where the money went and searched the entire house. It's not there, but everything that was unpacked was there. Even pointless crap like a blown light bulb was packed and unpacked. I ask her where the money is and she immediately gets defensive, tells me it's somewhere, and immediately I think this is all the same answers as last time. It then dawned on me that the money I was gifted was in $10 notes, and the money I was part paid for my sofa was also in $10 notes. So my suspicion is that she stole my money for her to hand to her mother to pay me. I have basically paid myself minus what has been taken. I confronted her and she replied, even if I did admit it to try and sort things, I don't care about you anymore anyway, so I don't need to. Probably makes sense why she was trying to take out a loan roughly the same time she would have taken the money. So there we have it. I let her stop for a while, and this is where it has landed me. Her stealing again. Whilst I have no solid proof whatsoever, it could only be her that took it, and if everything else got impacted, then she certainly took it. She's now threatening to out me to people who I really am. A victim of theft, I guess, and she'll tell everyone how awful I am and not to bother with contacting her. I've thrown her back out again for the very last time, and I'm just relieved. Not sad at all. Whilst I have no proof, her reaction is all the proof I need. Now I am forcing a DNA test at birth and will fight to make sure no child of mine is brought up in a family like hers. She is poison. People like her don't change, they just take more. Now, this post is technically ongoing, but holy cow, that is the end of it. That is the final update, but that was a long story. And I feel bad for the dude. I mean, do I feel bad? He got her pregnant. Well, debatably he got her pregnant. If he did actually get her pregnant, then I don't necessarily feel bad for him, because you should know better than to just not have protection. Just my opinion. Now, granted, could have been baby trapped, but still a lot of stupidity to go through that. Just shouldn't be doing it, and I don't promote hookup culture, so if he was a part of that, then not really not his fault at that rate. But continuing on from that, I do feel bad for him. He is thinking he potentially has a child, which I'm going to be completely honest. I'm thinking that he does not actually have a child. Just a guess, but he's very complicated emotions I can definitely get. But what I don't understand is, what is the girlfriend doing in this? She is being backstabbed by her own family, and she's not doing anything about it. How? I don't get it. That is it. I don't get it, period. End of a statement. I just don't get it. Like, why do you actively have those type of people in your life and you don't do anything about them? You just let them sit in the back and wallow in your money. Like, why? Why not just cut them off? What are they producing for you that is beneficial to your life? What is it? I don't get it. I don't get it. Can anyone in the comments tell me why she would not cut her family off at that rate? They have done nothing but been leeches on her, and she is still with them. Why? I don't get it. I don't get it. And then she is so the family is so attached to her that she then decides to backstab the person who is actually trying to help her. Why? Can you I understand there's a whole entire statement of love is blind, but can you be so blinded for your love of your family that you're unable to see what you're doing? I don't get it. Yeah, if someone in the comments has their own opinion, please mention it. I'd like to hear what you're thinking down below. Anyways, well, that is about it for those stories today. But if you enjoyed, please like and subscribe to become a fellow bread bag. But aside from that, I post 2 new videos every day, so I hope to see you next time toasting session. But until then, have a good one.